Hello, everybody. Welcome to Weekly Trash, the safe place to cleanse your mind, body, and soul of all that trash you consume this week so you could consume some more tomorrow. I'm your host, Josie Van Dyke, and it is Trash Day, but it is a special Trash Day, a unique kind of Trash Day, because we are recapping 2025. Had to make sure I didn't mess that up. I almost said 2024. It's 2025. It's going to be 2026. And this is one of my favorite episodes I do every year because I get to look back at everything that I have done, things that have happened. If you're new to the Weekly Trash fam, if you're a new trasher, hi. But the evolution of Weekly Trash is just one of my favorite things to talk about because I quite literally started this podcast with no idea what I was doing at all. At all. When I started this podcast, everything was a one take because I didn't know how to work a computer. Fun fact. So I have a Rodecaster right here. Everyone always asks me like, what podcast equipment you use? I want to start a podcast. I got the Rodecaster. This is an old one because this is the one I got almost 4 years ago, but I didn't know how to get this onto an editing platform. And even if I did know how to do that, I didn't know how to edit because I didn't know how to use a computer. I also would have all my guests come at night. And this was before I would film my podcasts. So they would come after I would put the kids down for bed at like 8:30. And I would announce them coming on the podcast the day before. They would come and record at 8:30. They would leave sometimes at like 1 a.m. because we would like yap and yap after we podcasted. And then I would hurry and download the raw audio with no edits, no cuts, nothing. And I would download that onto Apple and Spotify and it would go up immediately. Like immediately once we were done. And it was super fun and crazy and chaotic. And to look back at that time and see where I'm at now, I'm like, how? How did I do that? But that's what you have to do. Like, I think with any business, you start from the bottom. You have to start from the bottom. You have to figure out the tweaks and the things that you need to change. It's not going to be perfect. It's still not perfect. Okay. I am very much still, an amateur, but looking back at like the evolution of how we got to here is just so fun for me because it was really just like a fun little thing that I did in my basement when my kids went to bed. And I just hoped that one day it would pay off, and it did. And then I hired Carly, who does all my YouTube. I think that was in 2023. Taylor Frankie Paul's first episode was the first one we ever filmed. And fun fact, if you come into this room, this wall is half painted pink. Because when Carly came is when I had more video angles. So the camera I'm looking at right now is my camera. And then Carly brings her two cameras. And those are for the TikTok and Instagram clips. And they pull at kind of an angle. And so this wall was white. And when we would put the camera there and Taylor would have been sitting here, you would have seen a white wall. So 2 hours before Taylor came, I painted the wall just enough so you thought it was pink. And it's still halfway painted and it's going to get completely repainted because Weekly Trash is going under construction. Today's episode is brought to you by Moon Brew. If you're like me and you want something sweet before bed, but the problem is eating sugar right before bed is actually terrible for your body and your sleep quality, there is a drink. I started drinking Moon Brew instead, and you guys, it has changed my life. It has completely curbed the late night sweet tooth and actually helps me sleep better. Moon Brew is a melatonin-free, natural, expert formulated sleep supplement from their in-home medical board, and you can use it every night. Plus, the flavor's insanely good. Hot cocoa, coconut chocolate, vanilla, all low calorie, low sugar, and so satisfying. And if you follow me on Instagram, you also saw me post about their gummies, the same melatonin-free, natural expert formulated goodness, but in gummy form for anyone who doesn't want a warm drink before bed. I've been using it and been sleeping great, so has Pedro, and you can use code weeklytrash to get 20% off your purchase at moonbrew.co. Try it. Let me know what you think. I'm a huge fan of Moon Brew, and thank you, Moon Brew, for sponsoring today's episode. Today's episode is also brought to you by Shed, the easiest way to start your weight health journey. With Shed, it only takes 3 minutes to get started. You'll fill out a quick online form with your goals and health history, and their medical team will create a personalized treatment plan just for you. Everything happens online. No doctor's offices, no pharmacy lines. Your FDA-approved medication ships straight to your door. And the best part, you're not doing it alone. Shed pairs you with a dedicated member success team to help you track progress and stay motivated along the way. Clinically studied treatments, no insurance required, and zero hassle. Get $100 off your first month by using the link in the show notes. Shed is making health simple, effective, and actually doable. Thank you, Shed, for sponsoring today's episode. But I just look at this room and it just brings me like so many memories, and I'm gonna get like emotional, but like damn it. I didn't think I was gonna cry. I didn't think I was gonna be sad about this. This room, when I started this, when I started this and I painted this room with Bentley, she was 3, 4. I could have only dreamed that this would become what it has for me. And seeing the half painted wall and seeing the crazy fun rug and seeing these chairs, like I remember ordering these chairs from Urban Outfitters. And I was like, these are the nicest chairs that I can buy right now. Like I hope they work. I hope they look good. I hope like there's no returning them. Like I remember buying these. I remember buying the trash can, and just there's so much work and love that has gone into this room and this podcast. And it's just like the early version of me that just wanted to have something for herself so bad. Oh my gosh, I did not think I was going to cry. Oh, where are my tissues? Usually I have tissues for people when they cry. 1 minute. Oh. Okay, I'm back with my box of tissues. Oh, I was not expecting to cry at all. This took a turn. Whew. But I think this year, 2025, is the year that this became a job. This became real. This became a way to support my family. And it's hard because I think you assume once you hit these goals and these dreams, you're going to be the happiest version of yourself, and you're going to be so accomplished. You're going to feel so accomplished. And since going to therapy again and talking with the therapist, she asked me, she was like, when did you feel like you were your happiest? And I said it was when I first started this and I had really big dreams and I was really delusional. And I put 100% of my faith into myself. I believed in myself. And I did something that was really scary, that put myself out there, that probably embarrassed a couple of people. A lot of people didn't understand it. They didn't think it was the best idea. Um, but I'm just so proud of myself for doing it. And I hope that if you're listening to this right now and you have a goal, have a dream, and you're like, well, how am I going to start it? Just start it. Just start. Have the half painted wall. Have, the chairs that you're not sure they're going to match, but you're just going to send it and you're going to do it anyways. Have the broken ring lights. I have literal broken ring lights. Just do it. Do it scared. Do it without the budget. Do it without the help. You have to learn. Like I think it was after season 1 is when I finally figured out, maybe not even after season 1, maybe it was season 2 is when I finally figured out how to freaking work a computer and edit episodes. Like I would read my ads in front of my guests. I remember one guest in particular, I read an ad in front of. It was Maddie Murphy, who that was a huge pinch me moment for me because I look up to her so much. And I'm sitting there. Why am I crying over this? It's so stupid. Oh my gosh. I'm sitting next to her and it's somebody who I've listened to for years and I've heard them, do their ads. And obviously she pre-records her ads because everyone pre-records their ads. Nobody, unless you're the toast, but like it is not normal when you have guests to be reading your ads right in front of them. And I remember I was so nervous to read my ads in front of her. And I did it. One take wonder. And I remember she said something like, wow, that was really impressive. And that meant a lot. And through this podcast, I've realized how much I've seeked like approval from other people. Like I just want to show people that I can do it, that I am special, that I'm capable of so much more than, just being a mom and just being a wife and living a very simple life. Like I have really big dreams for myself. And I've just always felt like they're stupid and like they're not attainable. And like there's no way I can be a good mom and work. And there's no way I can be a good wife and have ambitions outside of the home. And this room showed me that I could. Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm on my period. Can you not tell? I'm literally on my period. This podcast, this room has given me a life that I have only dreamed of. And it's sad how if you don't prepare yourself, when you hit the moments that you have on your goals, on your goal list, you take them for granted and you forget how hard you worked for them and you don't give yourself enough credit. And so that's why I told my therapist, like, that was the happiest I ever was, is when I started this from the ground, trying to prove myself, trying to be the girl that I always wanted to be when I was 8 years old. Oh, wow. We haven't even gotten to like the good part of the episode. And look at me. Oh, this was just supposed to be the intro. What is going on? Okay. But like when I was a little girl, like if you've been listening for a long time, like I had my Juicy Josie show and I would grab my mom's iPhone, or not iPhone. It wasn't an iPhone. iPhones didn't exist then. I'd grab her flip phone, her Razor flip phone, and I would film myself in my room and I would sing my little theme song. If you know it, sing along. If you're sad or mad or glad, Juicy Josie, yeah, 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 yeah. Juicy. Hey guys, I'm Juicy Josie. I would make these videos and I wish so bad I could find them. And I would do funny little skits and I'd send them to my friends. And I loved that part of myself, and I lost that part of myself through life and traumas and growth. And I just got it all back. I got it all back with this. And so it's very bittersweet being in here because I am changing. I'm changing the room. The next time you see it, it will look different. Because also this room, it's not really me anymore. My wardrobe isn't as pink and crazy and fun, which I loved that time. But to be honest, the pink is giving me a little bit of a headache. And every time I come in here, it's a little obnoxious. And I just kind of need something a little more zen, a little more moody, something where it doesn't quite feel like a stage and it feels more like me, to who I am right now. But I'm just so proud of the 2022 Josie who did this and who believed in herself, who created this community, this podcast, this brand, this whatever you want to call this. This is my fourth baby and I am so damn proud of it. And so to talk about the evolution of it every year and talk about the things that, were my favorite part of the year is one of my favorite things to do because it's like talking about your kid. You know how like parents are always like, let me tell you a funny story about my kid. And all the other parents are kind of like, yeah, we don't care. But like, they just want to talk about their own kid. That's how I feel about my kids. And that's how I feel about Weekly Trash. And so this episode isn't everyone else's favorite episode because they're like, we really don't care. Just like how they don't care to hear about the time my first kid walked. Like nobody cares. Nobody wants to hear about my birth, my labors. Nobody wants to hear about that, but it's my favorite and it's my podcast. So that's why I'm going to talk about it because this really is my fourth baby and I'm just so proud of it. And so I want to talk about it a little bit. I did plan on sharing like a little bit of personal trash before I started getting right into it. And then I started crying. So that was a plot twist. But a couple of personal trash updates before we go into the 2025 recap where I give out the awards of my favorite episodes. Miranda Hope came back on the podcast and that was so fun to have her back for the third time. I mean, every time she's came on, she's had almost like a new life, like something has happened in her life that has changed her. And I feel like this episode was by far my favorite. She was her most authentic, honest self. And just to see the success she's had. That's the other really cool thing about this podcast. If you are an OG, is you've seen all of these creators come on this podcast at very different stages of their lives. And it's fun for me to look back on because when they all came on the podcast, it started out as, we have mutual friends. I'm almost kind of like a fan of them, and they leave the podcast as a really good friend. And that's really special to me too, because I've always loved making friends. I always love networking and just making sure everyone in the room is someone I can meet. I hate when I go somewhere and I don't know every single person. Like I want to know everybody. I want to know everyone's story. I want to know their name. I want to know their trauma. I want to know everything. I'm a nosy little bitch. And so to see all the girls on the show who came on 3 years ago and see where they're at now is just so cool. And not even them, but like other creators too. Like Emily Kaiser, I think when she came on, she had 40,000 followers on TikTok. Oh, TikTok. Courtney Cahoon, same thing. Carter, when he came on, he didn't know what he was going to do. He really wanted to do Dancing with the Stars, but didn't know if it was going to happen. And then there, bam, he's on Troop. So proud of him. I mean, we've just got to have so many people sit in these chairs that they thought they'd peaked. They thought they, hit their goals, and then they just skyrocket. They just kill it. And that's what I love about this too, is it's really inspiring for me that like all these successful people have sat here and they never stop and they keep reaching their dreams and they go for it. They don't give up. And I just love that aspect of this show because yes, we talk about like really serious stuff sometimes and there is like really emotional conversations, but they always end really happy. And I feel like that's a great lesson in life, that you will always go through shit. There will always be trash, but turning that trash into treasure, okay, season 3 merch, is the beauty of life. And being able to find the good in the bad and find the success through the failures is a beautiful thing. So seeing Miranda's evolution and how she went through probably the hardest time of her life to where she is now was really inspiring and beautiful. What else? What else is on here? Oh, my live show. I announced my live show. It's actually Sunday when I'm recording this right now because this is going to go up Tuesday because of Christmas. So I actually am announcing my live show tonight. And when you guys hear this, it'll already be out, but I'm actually really nervous. I'm really nervous. And this is another thing that I'm doing scared because I believe in myself. I did my first live show in 2025, which that was one of my pinch me moments that I wrote down in here. I think I've always wanted to do a live show, but it's very intimidating and scary. And so when I did it in 2025, I feel like I really lucked out. And I ended up having, Jesse, Layla, Taylor, and Michaela all show up as special guests. That was not fully planned. It just kind of happened towards the end of planning the show. And I sold out the show in a day, which was so exciting. And it was 200 tickets, which was a really big deal. And I had the time of my life. Like, it was so scary. I remember going on to stage and like shaking. Like, I actually kind of want to ask my doctor for a beta blocker for this next one because I was like visibly shaking, so scared. And going out on stage, and then after like 3 minutes of like the nerves, and it kind of like sunk in, like, hey, I got this. Like, girl, you're Juicy Josie. Like, come on. This is what you've wanted to do your whole life. Like, you love this. Chill, breathe. You're good. It was really special to me. And I had a great time. And so I was like, you know what? We're going to make this a thing where I'm going to do more live shows. So I decided Galentine's again, because I feel like it's the perfect time to get your girlfriends, get dressed up, have a little girls' night, go get dinner before. And when we were looking at venues, my manager had suggested Kingsbury Hall, which is 1,000 seats. And that's where like Jake Shane has had a live podcast there. Giggly Squad has had a podcast there. And at first I was like, okay, yeah, fuck it. Let's do it. I chickened out because I don't think I'm there yet. And so that's a goal for me in 2026 is to hit a point where in 2027, maybe 2028, maybe 2029, I can sell out Kingsbury Hall. And when I do, I will be clipping this because I am manifesting it. I'm putting it out in the universe. I will sell out Kingsbury Hall at some point in my podcasting career. But I had to be self-aware. And I was like, you know what? I believe in myself, but I don't believe in myself that much to spend $20,000 to rent out Kingsbury Hall. So let's scale it back. Let's scale it back a little bit. And we found the most perfect venue. I think it's going to be so good. It's an Orem. It's the Orem Library Hall venue. And the only reason why I even found it is because my sister-in-law performed at the Nutcracker there. And I was like, wait, this would be the perfect place for a live show because the auditorium, like the stage, the theater, whatever you want to call it, seats 500. And 500 was kind of my sweet number. Like, I feel like that's a challenge. I feel like that's exciting. That's a lot of people. I mean, my last show was 200. So this is more than double. And I was like, we can do this. Like, we could sell this out. So I'm kind of putting that in the universe. So if you're listening to this, please go buy a ticket. Would love to see you. But I was like, we can do this. And so it's still very scary. It's still a lot of money to put into something. But again, I believe in myself. I'm doing it scared, but I think it's going to be the best live show yet. And that says a lot because the last live show was fucking incredible. So go buy your tickets. The link for the tickets will be in my podcast description as well as the link in my bio. I feel like I shouldn't put these tissues away because I'm going to start crying again, but they're kind of in my way. And there's VIP tickets because one thing I do love about my parties is I get to meet all you guys, but it is like 3 hours of me just kind of standing there. And so I still wanted to meet some of you guys after the live show because last live show I stayed after and I met all 200 of you and that was so awesome, but it did take a long time. And I don't know if I have that time for this one. So I was like, how can we still get to have some meet and greet situation? So there is going to be VIP tickets and they are the first 2 front row tickets. They come with a early meet and greet. So you'll be able to come early at 6 and we can hang out, talk, take pictures, vibe it out, all the things. And then you'll also get a goodie bag because I was like, there ain't no way I'm making people spend money to meet me. That's actually insane and crazy. And I cannot fathom. No, I'm not Beyonce. So I was like, we need to give them something for this because meeting me just is not enough. They need a Minky blanket, right? Like they need more. So if you buy the VIP tickets, you will be sitting front row and you'll also get a goodie bag as well as seeing me, which I feel like is like the most cringy thing to say, but I mean, people do line up at the parties to meet me and that is a huge pinch me moment. That was another pinch me moment that I have written down for 2025 is just seeing people want to meet me is 8-year-old Josie's dream. Like, oh my gosh, I have all these new friends. Like it's exhilarating. Like people are always like, aren't you tired? I'm like, no, I get a high off of this. Like I am the most extroverted human on planet Earth. Like being able to like physically meet the people who listen to me every day is not every day, once a week is one of my favorite things ever. So I know that people will want to meet me. It's just like mind boggling to think that that's like actually a thing. So if you get a VIP ticket, I can't wait to meet you and hug you and kiss you. Just kidding. But take pictures and hang out and then give you your goodie bag. And then also in the show, it will be very interactive. So like I will be having people from the audience come on. It's going to be a good time. I have some surprise guests that I'm very excited about. So yeah, go grab a ticket, come to the live show or I'll cry. Okay. And you guys know that I cry. So that wouldn't be surprising. Okay. But let's get more into things that happened in 2025. I cut my hair. That was crazy for me. It's back. Even when I cut my hair though, I still had hair extensions because your girl has the thinnest hair on planet Earth. So I never got rid of my hair extensions. I need to clear that up because some people were confused. No, never got rid of them. They've always been in my head. Now they're just a little bit longer and I actually love this mid-length. I think it looks very natural and it's not too long, but it's not too short. I'm kind of obsessed with it. We'll see how long it lasts though, because I can never make up my mind, but cut my hair. And I cannot believe I did that for the record. I never thought I would have short hair in my life. And I even made a TikTok. I stitched it on my birthday because it was my birthday when I cut my hair. I had said in an old TikTok, I was like, if I ever cut my hair, I am the most confident I've ever been because my hair is my security blanket. So if I cut it, you better watch out because I'm going to take over the world. And it was true. Like I felt so confident that I was like, let's cut it. Like I don't need long hair. Like let's do it. Crazy. Never thought I would have done that. And I loved it. I really did. But it got to a point where after my tummy tuck, I was just like, I want to feel sexy. And the short hair wasn't making me feel sexy. It was making me feel like a badass, but I didn't feel sexy. So got the hair back, but I did cut it and that was incredible for me to do because never thought that would do. Today's episode is brought to you by Boom Trashers. You already know I'm going to put you on the good stuff. If you need holiday outfits, winter outfits, any outfits really, Boom is the move. Their sweaters, so good. Their dresses, I'm obsessed. I swear every time I go to their site, there's something new and I'm like, okay, fine, add to cart. There's seriously so much. So if you want to be cute this season, and I know you do, go shop Boom and use code TRASHER20 for 20% off. Treat yourself. You deserve it. Again, that's boom.com, BOHME, code TRASHER20. Love ya. And thanks, Boom, for sponsoring today's episode. Sorry to interrupt, but today's episode is brought to you by Minky Couture. You will never want to buy another blanket ever again. I would know because I've had lots of blankets, and ever since I got that one viral blanket that you see online, the Minky Couture blanket, I am confidently telling you that it is the best blanket ever. Everyone needs to have something as cozy as Minky in their home. There's nothing quite like coming home after a long day and cuddling up with your Minky Couture blanket. They are soft and luxurious, and it feels like a cuddling cloud. Okay, just cuddle it up. There's so many different types of blankets out there, but seriously, nothing compares to Minky Couture. They have the largest selection of colors, sizes, and patterns on the market. They are the creator of the original Hugs blanket, a double-sided, stretchy, and plush style that literally hugs you back. I've never had a blanket that even comes close to my Minky Hugs. Minky Couture is a female-owned business started by a mother who wanted to provide luxurious comfort to her daughter through a tough time. Since 2009, Minky Couture has been able to bring comfort and luxury to homes all over the world. Passionate about giving back to the community, they donate over 30,000 mini Minkies to NICUs across the country every year. And lucky for you guys, I have partnered with Minky Couture to bring this comfort and luxury into your home by offering listeners an exclusive 50% off discount. That's right, 50% off. Use your code weeklytrash at checkout for 50% off your next purchase on all full priced items. You can use it in store or online at softminkyblankets.com. Again, use code weeklytrash for 50% off your next purchase and treat yourself to the best blanket ever. Follow them on Instagram for additional deals and updates at Minky Couture. Thanks, Minky, for sponsoring today's episode. My first live show, we just talked about that. That was huge for me. Again, was so scared to do it, but I was like, we're doing this. We're selling out. And we did. And it was so fun. So I'm excited to do another one. The third thing, and I'm like, already, this is going to bring up my emotional side again. So bear with me. This is what I'm really proud of. I retired my Edge Homes husband. If you guys didn't know, my husband, he was a real estate agent for a home builder here in Utah for a long, long time. And I had made it a goal once I realized I could make money doing this, that I wanted to make enough to where he felt comfortable leaving that job and focusing on his other career goals. And I remember the day that we talked about him actually quitting and leaving. It was a big deal. That place was like a second home to him. He had worked there since he was 19. And I remember just being like, it's not where you want to be. We're going to be okay. Just leave. And he did. And the minute he left that job, I got my biggest podcast sponsor I had ever gotten. And it was so meant to be. I was like, oh my gosh, we're going to be fine. We're totally going to be okay, because now, I said we were going to be fine, but it's almost like me being delusional. Just quit. It's going to be fine. But in the back of my head, I was like, oh, that's a little scary. And then he actually quit, and bam, sponsor, huge, biggest one I ever got. And that was also one of my pinch me moments, was getting my first 6-figure partnership. And I just was so in shock, first of all, proud of myself, but just over the moon that I hit a goal that I made, but I really didn't think would ever actually happen. I was like, I want my husband to leave this job. I want him to go pursue other things. But I was like, that is so not going to happen. Like, this job has supported our lifestyle for 10 years. Like, that's never going to happen. But I really believed in myself and I did it. So that was a huge one for me and my family. Like, that has changed our lives. Like, my husband is around all the time, where before I would always joke that I was a single wife because he would be gone Monday through Saturday, sometimes even Sunday, and he'd be working from morning till night and he couldn't really come to things. And it was hard. It was hard. So having him around, getting him to be with the kids more and do things as a family more, like, is such a blessing that I will not take for granted. And I'm just so grateful. And yeah, that was probably the biggest thing that happened in 2025 for me personally. I started See Good Do Good. I turned it into part of my brand because I tattooed it on my body for literally no reason. I don't know what encouraged that really. I was just like in a rut and I was like, I want to tattoo something on my body that is going to remind me to like be positive and like be the best version of myself. And I was like sitting there and I was like, See Good Do Good. It kind of came to me the same way that Weekly Trash came to me. Like, it was just like in my head and I was like, I got to do it. Like, I got to do it. So Hannah tattooed See Good Do Good on my arm. It's right here. And then I started saying it at the end of every episode. So that's a new thing to Weekly Trash. And then I put it on merch. So See Good Do Good, everybody. I had a lot of sex. Me and Pedro said this the other day. We probably had more sex in 2025 than we had ever had in our 9 years of marriage. So, like, so much sex. And it was exhausting, to be honest. We don't have sex every day anymore because I was burnt out. Okay. After we obviously had to stop having sex every day because I had my tummy tuck. So we couldn't have sex every day. And then I was like, wait, I'm actually really tired and I feel good about not having sex every day. So we don't have sex every day anymore. But up until my tummy tuck, we were like teenagers, okay? Little buzz bunnies everywhere, all the time, every day. And that was really fun. It was fun. Pedro misses it, that's for sure. But I just think it was a fun time, and maybe we'll go back to that at some point. But I think it inspired a lot of you guys to like have fun sex. And I love that for you guys because I think sex sometimes in marriage, when you've been married for a while, it becomes very routine and it just doesn't feel fun. And you just kind of feel like you have to do it and it's a chore. And so it was kind of fun to just be little teenagers again and wild. So 2025 was the year of sex. I made a lot of new friendships that I think will stay in my life forever. I've always been so blessed to have my childhood best friends in my life. They're not going anywhere. They've been around for everything I've been through. And I know that's not really a normal thing for a lot of people to still be best friends with their childhood best friends. So very grateful. But I'm also the type of person that has always loved making friends. And I would say I have a lot of friends, but I only have a couple of best friends. And I do feel like I added a best friend to my life. You know who you are. But that's been really cool to, like, as an adult, have another best friend. Because all my best friends were childhood best friends. So made some friendships, made a new best friend. I had my first panic attack from marijuana, where I thought I was dying. And I have not done it since. That's actually not true. I took a gummy when I was with Aspen in California. We did talk about that on the podcast, but it did nothing. It literally did nothing. So I don't count it, but I have not dabbled in any of that stuff since because it was the scariest thing of my life. And then I had to like tell you all about it. It's the podcast title, I Almost Died. Because I feel like in 2025, I was really like gassing up how much I loved gummies. I was like, they're the best, they're amazing, the best sex, the best food, like blah, 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 blah. I was a little pothead, okay? But with edibles. And I had a horrible experience and it kind of woke me up. And so I felt like I had to share that with you guys because I had been hyping up my gummy situation for so long. So I obviously had to talk about it because 2025 was the first year that I ever did anything like that. I never dabbled in any kind of drug. So yeah, it was the year of me getting high and the year of me not getting high because now I don't get high at all. I switched to 1 episode a week instead of 2 episodes a week, which was the best thing I ever did for my mental health. That's another evolution of weekly trash that I look back and I'm like, how did I do that? I was having a new guest every single week plus a solo. The solo, like, okay, whatever. A new guest every week is insane. If any of you complain about guests and like, oh, why'd you pick them? Shut the fuck up, okay? Because having a podcast where guests are a big part of it is so hard and complicated. So you do it. Okay, you have a guest podcast and let me know how it goes. It is so hard to have a new guest every single week and to have guests that people are excited about and that people like and that people want to hear from and that you want to hear from. Like I also want to have someone here that I want to talk to, like somebody that I find entertaining and that has a story that I'm interested in. And it is so hard. So that was the best thing I ever did to go down to 1 episode a week because now I can really focus on, first of all, my mental health and just making sure that I can have time in between episodes to like recoup and give it my all the next week. So yeah, best decision I ever made. I don't know if I'll ever go back to 2 episodes a week. I said like there was a chance, but now that I've experienced the 1 episode a week lifestyle, I don't think I can go back to 2 a week. That was a lot. But again, you have to do what you got to do to build. It's part of the evolution. Am I even using that word right? Okay. Yeah, I'm using it right. I'm using it right. I Googled it. It's all good. I got my mommy makeover and I went viral on Instagram, where I am literally wearing a diaper. And I was wearing a diaper because I was supposed to start my period like any day. And then I didn't start because surgery, I guess, like messes up your menstrual cycle. And then I thought I was pregnant, of course, because I think I'm pregnant every single month. But I was wearing a diaper because I was supposed to start. And the first day of my period is a bloodbath. Okay. I am bleeding through extra super tampons within 30 minutes. And because of a tummy tuck, getting up and getting out of bed is very painful and hard, that I didn't want to bleed out all over my sheets during one of my naps or during the middle of the night. So I wore a diaper for 2 days because I was like, I don't want that to happen. And then I never ended up bleeding. But of course, the video that goes viral is me in a diaper. And I literally say, I smell like ass. Or do I say I look like ass? One of the two. Anyways, it got like 5 million views on Instagram, which for me is huge. And I gained like 30,000 followers from it. So that was cool. And now I have a new body, which it's finally hit me that it's my body. And I look back at videos where I was like so open to sharing the whole process. And I'm so glad I did because I think it was really educational for people who want a mommy makeover. But I mean, I was sharing it all. Okay. We were putting blurs over things, but you really saw it all. And now I feel like I would feel so uncomfortable standing in front of a camera in a swimsuit. Like this is now my body, where before it wasn't my body. It was like a human experiment. Like I was doing it for science. Where now it's like, no, these are my private parts. Don't look. They're sacred. Okay. But I do need to do like a 7, how long has it been? It's been more than 6 months. I need to do like a video where I give like a update on how everything's looking because I do get asked that a lot because it does look very different from how it looked when I was 6 weeks post-op. But now I'm just like shy. Like I'm like, oh my gosh. Like at my party, I let everybody touch my boobs, where at the meet and greet at the live show, I probably would not let anyone touch my boobs because I'm like, these are mine. So yeah, mommy makeover, huge thing in my life to happen to me. No more extra skin hanging from my stomach, which is like the one thing I wanted. Like, I didn't even care about the boobs. I just wanted all that extra skin gone. Like, I lost so much weight. So to have that all gone, just like best thing to ever happen. I went to Europe. It wasn't my first time in Europe, but it was like the first time that I remember because I was a baby and like 5 when I went the last time. Me and Pedro went on a cruise, which don't recommend a cruise, but I do recommend Europe. We went to Spain, we went to France, we went to Italy. I think that's it. It was so beautiful, so amazing. It's my whole personality now, and I want to go back again. I loved every minute of it. Shopping, are you kidding? Best thing ever. So that was fun. I went on my first brand trip. Yes. Was I only invited because Aspen's my best friend? Yeah. But in my defense, you could only get invited if they approved. So they approved and I got invited. So technically it counts. I'm counting it at least. It counts for me. That was really cool and really fun. I had the best Halloween costume ever. I was Dad Talk, Joe from Dad Talk. I don't think I could ever top that Halloween costume. It was so good. I looked so hot. Like, I am a very good looking man. Some people say a better looking man than a woman, but to each their own. I loved that costume, and that was a highlight of 2025 for sure. Last, I went to Disneyland as a Disney adult with my besties, and I actually had the best time, which I knew I would have fun, obviously, but I'm like catching myself like wanting to go again. Maddie, don't get your hopes up. But like, that was so fun because I'm obviously going to go in February like I do every year with my kids. And it's just like a different kind of experience. It's not chill and fun. It's like, it's a lot, okay? But it's still magical either way. But I loved it. It was a good time. Okay, now I'm going to give out the awards for top 3 inspiring episodes, top 3 funniest episodes, top 3 emotional episodes, and top 3 pinch me moments of 2025. Let's start with top 3 most inspiring episodes. 1 was an obvious Elizabeth Smart. That was also a pinch me moment. I remember when her team had reached out and I was like, yeah, 1,000%, 1,000%. The coolest thing ever to be able to talk to somebody whose story you heard about as a little girl and like couldn't even fathom someone going through that and coming out of it stronger. Just so inspiring. So that was number 1. Number 2 was Layla Taylor. I feel like her story is very inspiring and we don't get to hear a lot of it on the show. Being able to have her come on and really share, the hardships that she's been through and self-harm and working through that and divorce and now, where she's at now in her career was so inspiring. Another inspiring episode that has to do with Secret Lives of Mormon Wives was actually Taylor Frankie Paul. I feel like a lot of people got inspired by that one because that episode versus her first episode were just so different. Like, you could tell in just the way she spoke, she could articulate herself better. She was in a way better headspace. She talked a lot about therapy and mental health. And I think people saw her at her absolute worst, like literally getting arrested, to being on the other side of it and finding hope, I think was inspiring for a lot of people. Top 3 funniest episodes, Kyle and Tucker Thorne. Obsessed. I'm obsessed with them. They are the funniest brothers ever. I had the best time chatting with them. The little skit we did in the beginning was so funny. And there were a lot of parts I had to cut out because I was like, I think this one could get us in trouble. Because we were so wild and funny. I wish I could keep all of it in because it was some crazy shit. But love them. And even the parts I kept in were wild and fun. And I thought it was the funniest episode. And then Macy Thompson, it's just a bit. Everything she does is funny. And if you don't follow her on Instagram, you're missing out because her level of commitment to the bit is just unmatched. She is so funny and sarcastic, and I just love her humor. And you have to be able to understand sarcasm to think it's funny, because she does get people in her comment sections that are like trying to fight her because they think she's being so serious. And it's like, you guys, this is a bit. It's a joke. Like, laugh a little, have a little fun. The last funniest episode was Kate Raker. She's a hoot. Okay. She is a hoot and a half, says the most crazy out of pocket shit. And I just love her. I love how chaotic and wild and crazy she is. And she owns that part of herself. She doesn't dim it down for anyone. And it can be a lot, but I love it. And I hope to see more of her in Secret Lives, because she's just Kate. Like, you can't find anyone like Kate, and everyone loved her episode. It's actually one of my most downloaded episodes. So just saying, it's a good one. She's hilarious. Kate, I love you. Top 3 emotional episodes. Bria Vaudry. Her story was also so inspiring. That was one where I was like, where do I put it? Because it was very inspiring, but it was also very emotional, because it was an episode that as she was telling her story, I was trying not to get emotional. And I try really hard to not get emotional when someone is telling a story, because I don't want it to look like it's about me now. Like, oh, now I'm crying. Like, you had to go through it, and now here I am sobbing like a baby. Like, I tried to be, The Rock and not a baby wimp crying in the corner. So, but that episode was hard because there were times where she was telling her story and like I felt very emotional. So if you haven't listened to that one, that was a really, really good one. Next one was Sarah Beeston. That was a really, really sweet episode. She was so vulnerable and shared about, the passing of her sister in a car accident and, how that affected her family dynamic and her. And it was very, very tender, and she got very emotional. She was also pregnant, and I feel bad because like she was pregnant and talking about such emotional stuff. So obviously she was so sad, and it made me very emotional, and I just like wanted to hug her the whole time because I was like, wait, this is a lot. But if you haven't listened to it, go listen to it, because that was also a really inspiring one too. And then the last one was actually my Trasher episode from this year, which was Courtney Hilburn, who got diagnosed with cancer. And her story, I think, was very emotional because, she was going through a really hard time and then had that on top of it, and having to deal with like financial stress and family stress and then physical stress. Like, it was a lot on her. And so I was so grateful that she was one of the trashers that submitted her story. So that way I got to talk to her, because I think it was not only emotional, but it was also an inspiring one too. Top 3 pinch me moments, which I've kind of already talked about them. The one was getting my 6-figure partnership, my first ever. Never, if you would have told me that was going to happen, like I said, I would have been jumping up and down. I was jumping up and down even when it happened. But like, I remember the first sponsor I ever had on this podcast, and it was $100. And I was like, hell yeah, $100, $100 to just like talk and do what I love. Obsessed. Sorry to interrupt, but today's episode is brought to you by Cozy Earth. You guys know how much I love Cozy Earth. And with the new year coming, I always want to make a fresh start at home. And Cozy Earth is the easiest way to do that. Their Baja bedding set is gorgeous with a full matching collection inspired by the textures and colors of Baja California. It instantly makes your bed feel like a resort. And their Luxe bath towels, oh my gosh, obsessed. So soft and plush, made with a blend of cotton and viscose from bamboo using a zero twist technology. They dry fast and feel amazing. For me, resetting my home helps me feel more rested and ready to take on the year. And Cozy Earth truly delivers that luxury. Plus, like I've said before, it's risk-free with a 100-night sleep trial and a 10-year warranty. Start that new year right and head to CozyEarth.com and use code WeeklyTrash for up to 20% off. And don't forget to mention you heard about Cozy Earth right here on Weekly Trash. And thank you, Cozy Earth, for sponsoring today's episode and making my life so much more cozy. And so to think of that, Josie getting the partnership sponsor that she got this year is just something I'm so proud of, and I'm pinching myself. I'm like, am I going to wake up? Is this a dream? Is this a dream? Is this a dream? Like the coolest thing to ever happen. Having my first live show was a huge pinch me, and just knowing I could do it, like I was capable of it, was just huge. And like sitting there in the dressing room after when everyone left and just being like, I did that. I did it. That was a pinch me. The last one is, and this is a pinch me every single year, but seeing people line outside before my parties, granted, they are lining up for the goodie bags. Okay. It's not me, it's the goodie bags, but still like seeing people outside in their outfits for the party. Cause this year it was like the sunset party, and that whole party was a pinch me because it just was like the prettiest setup ever. It was like the first time where I charged for tickets. Usually I do the party for free, but then because of that, a ton of people show up, and last year the cops got called. So I was like, no, we need to have a limit on people coming. So that's why I had sold tickets. And I feel like because I did that, I was able to like go full out on decor and just like the overall vibes. It was nicer than my wedding. Like it was so gorgeous. All of the backdrops, I mean, Party Fun Utah kills it every time with the backdrops, the balloon backdrops. Like everything was picture perfect. The florals, the vendors, the food, huge pinch me. And then the goodie bags were just the best goodie bags I've ever given. So seeing people line outside at 8 a.m, okay, it will always shock me and pinch me. Like what? What? It's just the coolest thing ever. Like to see trashers in the flesh. Like I'll never get over it. I'll never get over it. So that's the recap of 2025. Lots happened, lots to be grateful for. It's the last year with the pink wall, which, am I going to cry again? No, I'm not, because I wept like a baby in the beginning of this. But it was just like such a good year professionally. And also I think even mentally it was hard because I've had to work through a lot of insecurities that I feel like got brought up because I've never dealt with this amount of stress. Like the stress of, okay, like financially providing, and the stress of, more eyes on me and more people critiquing, and, the stress of, am I being a good enough mom? Because now my kids are older and they can like see how present I am. Like there was just a lot that I had to work through. And I feel like at the end of the day, I grew a lot this year, not just professionally, but personally, because I really had to look inward on like why I felt the way I feel and why I do certain things that I do. So I'm excited to honestly explore more of that part of myself in 2026 and really, being secure in who I am. And I think it's a hard thing to do when you put yourself out there online, because every single day you're giving people the opportunity to have an opinion about you. And in the beginning, I was delusional and it didn't affect me. And then at this point in my career, it has. And I think I'm at that point now where I can work through it and I can get over it and I can almost tune it out. And so that excites me that in 2026, I'm going to be like the most confident version of myself. I feel like this was the year that I had to kind of like be very self-deprecating in a way and just like really be so hard on myself. Like, and that's what's so crazy. Like I said in the beginning of this, is like I hit so many goals and things that I never thought I would hit. And in that same breath, I was so hard on myself and like looked at myself like I sucked, which is just like so crazy because like I'm the most successful I've ever been. I'm the hottest I've ever been. I am doing the coolest things I've ever done. But like internally, I was just like beating myself up every day. And being able to like hit that head on and go to therapy and work on that, I think is just going to make 2026 me so unstoppable. Like I am so ready to just embrace the good, the bad parts of myself and not try to like filter it or hide it or dim it down, because I'm scared of what people will think and what I'll lose. And just like coming to terms with the fact that like none of this would exist without me. Like I have value. I'm important. I need to give myself credit. And going into 2026 with that mindset of like, you are enough. You did this. This didn't just happen, Josie. And coming to terms with that this year, I think is just going to help me so much in 2026. I think everyone's goals are very similar when it comes to the new year. It's like, I want to be the healthiest version of me. I want to be the most in shape. I want to make the most money that I've ever made. I want to, be the best version of myself. And I want to challenge you when you're thinking of your goals this year to write down a very specific goal, like very specific, something that you believe in, like you think it could happen, but you also think it's delusional. Okay. Write it down word for word, very specific, and hold on to it. Because I did that. And my goal was to retire, in parentheses. He's not retired. Okay. He will always be doing something to make money, but like retire my real estate husband. I believed in myself that it could happen, but I also at the same time was like, this is the craziest thing to write because so much would have to happen for this to happen. And if it did happen, what does that even look like? But it happened. So I encourage you to just find one goal and be very specific. Don't just say, want to be the best version of myself. Like write word for word what you want and then see if it happens. I will be rooting for you. I hope everyone's dreams come true. I hope everyone feels motivated going into 2026. I think every year you're going to have losses, you're going to have wins, but it's what you do with them. So with that being said, I hope you guys have the best holiday, Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate. I hope it's the best. I hope your new year is amazing and all of your goals for 2026 come true. See good, do good, and don't forget to take out your trash. Love ya. Bye.